What's going on, Dragon Brawlers? Scott Sedman here for Players Guild, your guild master. Today I'm joined by Lucas Smith. How are you doing, sir?
Yes.
That is a response. We are here with graded for the green cards from Cross Spirits. This is the Dragon Ball Super card game. Without further ado, let's get into it with Videl making her debut as a leader, which is awesome to see. It's a leader that I think a lot of people have been waiting for, and from probably her crowning achievement outside of potentially turning Super Saiyan in Battle of the Gods. We'll talk about that another time. But yeah, a really cool new skillless strategy. Um, One that I think utilizes Spirit Boost in a very cool way. It does unfortunately have an errata already, mainly because it wouldn't work otherwise. But then a really powerful skill on both sides. Lucky, you played with this leader. Let the people know how deceptively strong she is.
So, as you've probably seen in our videos, I was not too convinced on her as a leader.
No.
Mostly because the amount of skillless cards you need to play is just... Well, you need to play a lot, right? I was running 12 skillless cards in my deck.
Yeah.
At the same time, you do need to see the Unison.
Hmm.
Unison has that advantage over Android 18 we have seen yesterday, that it's 6k.
Yeah.
It's not
So
hit by one drops.
not hit by the new power line of the one drops. It's not hit by most old one drops, which were one drop 5k.
Yep.
You have to commit a combo to it in most cases. Obviously, you get outliers like saying Cabra and blah blah blah. But like general rule of thumb is it's safe from those early game aggressors. Like
Yeah.
unless your opponent's taking life to deal a marker damage, which could be worth it in some situations. But you also get the auto of that unison, which we'll talk about when we get to that unison. But as for a leader, how did you feel like when you actually started playing her and things came together?
I
Like,
was drawing a lot of cards.
mm,
Like, we're talking a lot of cards. Because turn 3, I had close to 20 cards in my hand.
which is like, even if they are skilllesses, right? That's a lot of combo power.
Yeah.
A lot of combo power.
And the fact is that one thing I missed when I was reading this card first time. It doesn't matter where the card was used from
Mm,
for the combo. So you will draw a card even if you used it from the board.
yeah,
You can
from the
only
board
play
or
it
the
if you comboed
drop.
from the hand.
Yeah. So there's a lot of cool little things in there that like just constantly gain you advantage. So not only are you playing cards for free, skilllesses, um, but you're comboing them in, drawing more cards. So not only being defensive, but getting more cards to your hand to line up and do it again and again and again. There's just so much to love about this leader. Um, like she's scarily popular, and I definitely think we're going to see at least some people try and uh, make her really competitive, which I think is all great for the game in general. Like there's so many little techs and skill support throughout the series. Um, I'm excited for the potential of Videl. She on paper sounds interesting, but then in practice she is a monster. And if Green starts winning with a skill or strategy, I'm okay with that in my book.
Yeah, she is interesting and she kicked Boo's ass.
She did. She absolutely handed it to me. Um, Funny because I didn't have a hand, and you had still like 20 cards in hand. It's hilarious. Um, so then we'll move on to Majin which by no means is a terrible leader. It's a very interesting leader. It goes back to the set free roots of putting cards underneath the leader. Requires spirit boost for those fun effects. It has a very cool attacking and putting card underneath it to draw two, which is just super cool in my opinion. And on the flip side, has the ability to essentially beam into your next turn, which I think that's going to be the key here. And I still think we need more cards that put cards underneath the leader. Um, I'm really upset we didn't get like a green boo makes you cookie. I think that would have been perfect. Um, That
So
being
one thing I'm
said,
going to say about this leader,
mhm,
I would much rather see this leader say, when this card attacks, draw 2 cards and put 1 card from your hand underneath this leader.
yeah, yeah, I agree.
I
I
would
agree
forego the
wholeheartedly.
self-awakening on it and give it alternative self-awakening when you have 6 cards underneath, 5 cards underneath.
Yeah, I agree. I can definitely see that.
Because when you
Uh,
hit the 2 super combos with your leader attack, that was,
feels bad. Feels bad.
yeah.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. So just like aside from running blue green, there needs to be a few more ways to get cards under your leader. But other than that, it's not that much of a problem, and
Uh,
it's something that can be fixed with a promo or a anniversary box card down the line. It really isn't that big of a deal. It's still quite a strong leader in its own right and introduces a lot of great cards for green in general into the super card game, which is always great. You just love to see Boo, like so much Boo, Boo everywhere, which is I can't complain because Boo's one of my favorite villains. Then we'll deep dive into this unison here. We've talked about it briefly, and we'll talk about why it's actually really strong and difficult to remove because it does have the auto of when it's attacked, choose a green skillless card. It's green skillless airfling, I should say, in your hand, and then you combo it. So
which also procs the leader.
exactly, and this makes it very hard to remove from those small one drops trying to get in. And if your opponent really wants to commit to that, then let them, because you're pretty much gonna draw into another one anyway,
I mean,
and all you do is need to have this guy on board.
even unawakened leader attack doesn't hit, because he becomes 11.
Exactly, like there's so like
And you
he's
draw a
so,
card, take a life, so you essentially plus 1, and then whatever they're going to use to try to kill it, you're plussing further from that.
exactly. And as you commonly did, if you spirit boost, you can KO with two or less.
Which ended up being actually quite important.
Yeah,
Because you
like
can do it during your opponent's turn as well.
exactly. So if they swing at you with a two or less, poof.
Yeah. Or, if they set up an absorption and they attack first before absorbing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's just on the pilot then, isn't it? And then it has a cool SPR. Then we'll move into the Boo Unison, which is interesting. I like the one drop 1K makes sense. I get why it's that. But like again, it's just against Videl where she has so many 10Ks that are just gonna swing at it. It was almost impossible to keep this guy on board.
I mean, technically, you even kept your boo with a servant and they just run over that boo.
Yeah, like there's so much like combo power in Videl. I still think in its own right, like it's a strong leader and unison, but against Videl it was tough to deal with. I have to admit
The
that.
problem is you
Um,
can't drop this unison turn 1.
yeah, like you need to have some form of protection for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is I agree wholeheartedly with that sentiment.
And I
Um,
don't understand that auto.
yeah, like giving it Overload really doesn't do much except from drawing, but then you don't really want to get rid of your board presence. It almost feels counterintuitive
You don't
to
want to
what
get rid of that servant that's protecting the unison. That's the biggest issue. Because you don't have any built-in servants.
exactly. So why getting it Overload? It's a very like I guess if you're making a final push, but you only get seven when you're in rest mode. It's a weird card. It is a weird card. Potentially, it's there for using it in other decks, I guess, but I don't know. I
It's
don't know.
just... I don't understand. I think this would be generally possibly better in the Majin Vegeta, maybe?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
But then you need to be
Um,
playing Majin Buu with 15,000 or less.
oh yeah, you can do that. That's not too much of a
Yeah.
problem because you got the quickening with Imagine Vegeta. I genuinely think it's just a Imagine Vegeta support more than it helps this leader, which is a sad thing to say. Um, but it's still a cool unison. I am actually interested to see if people do put it into Imagine Vegeta and see what happens with it. Um, or if it falls the way of the dinosaurs and goes extinct. I don't know where I was going with that. Gohan glimpse in potential. You didn't really utilize this card. It's
I
fine, I
used
think.
it to finish up
Yeah,
the last
it's a
game, but I
fine
was already
card.
winning on board, so...
Krillin is amazing, but not for the Videl deck. It's a
No.
Clash Q support.
Yep.
And just the fact that it's when it's removed, by skill or KO'd, which thank you. That's what any KO'd, that's what any blocker removal effect should be, is
Yeah.
KO or opponent's skill, especially at 4 cost. Choose it to one of your opponent's unison cards, remove a marker from it, and then obviously you're going to be playing Clash Coup. So like, I like this a lot. I think it helps revamp Clash Coup for modern era, like dealing with unisons, which is thumbs up.
The problem is it's still a 4-drop.
True, that is the only downside to it being there, is a 4-drop. But who knows?
And it's
Like
also
Clash Coup,
20k. It's not going to be dying easily.
Clash Coup can make use of it. That's the
Yeah.
important thing.
Then we go into Videl with all her strength.
Super cool card. Absolutely adore her. Yeah,
If
you're
I
the
was playing
pilot for
more
Videl.
carefully, she would be just stupid.
Right, she is just really strong.
Yeah.
Uh, the SPR as well. Her kicking Spopovich in the face, super fun.
I mean, forcing your opponent to discard 2 cards or you KO their battle card is ridiculous choice when the hand size is 20 to 10.
Yeah, 100% agree. So really good card. Just really good card in general for heroines. Like, I I think this card's gonna be a thing that comes into popularity and out of popularity as we get more and more heroines, if that makes sense.
I think there is also a call for this card in any green deck that can run skillless cards, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Because your leader needs to be green or heroine, and you need to have a green skillless in play.
yeah. I don't disagree. I think that's very true. So the future is very strong for Videl with all her strength, is what we're saying. We're very much a fan of it here. Then we got some skillless Videls, one of them being numbered 69. Wasn't intentional. I just found that funny, and yes, I'm a child.
Nice.
118 ready for a fight.
That's the
I
anti-burn.
It's the anti-burn for green. We've already said they're good cards. They're very niche in their use, especially now that catastrophic blow's been limited. But still,
I mean,
I
there's
think
still
a great
Vegeta
addition.
Jr., right?
True. I mean Piccolo Junior.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, there's ways that burn still happens, and it does definitely merit for them existing. It is one of those things where I'm happy they exist. Like, it's better that they do exist than them not existing, but I don't see how useful they're going to be. Maybe sideboard cards at best, I think.
Mm.
Although the fact that she is an android and heroine is great. Like, the fact that heroines will have access to this makes me happy. Then we get Sun Goku, Spirit Bomb Unleashed. Another Goku that didn't get a Spirit SPR. Madness. Madness. It's crazy how many Gokus got done dirty this set, which is hilarious to me. But then again, it's a cool looking artwork. This card's super cool, very reminiscent. The first card we saw was Spirit Boost X. Yeah, there's not much more to say other than I really like this card.
I mean, the card is scary, right? But you need to do it in Activate Main, which is amazing, because it's not a surprise jumper.
Yeah, I think that's one thing they've done really well of getting away from, is just the suddenness this game's going to end now. Like, they want it to be a more tactful experience, which is why I don't understand why they didn't ban Champa and East Supreme Kai,
Yeah,
but
no do
that's
I.
another topic for another time. I am very much advocating for that, just to see how it happens. But I love this card. I genuinely love this card. You got to have 3 or more energy, so it can't just come down to
So,
one.
yeah.
You can't just start dunking on your
This one feels
opponent.
a bit like the 8-drop Goku, right?
Yeah, I'd say that. Yeah.
Because you
Green
need to
Unison's
have
all
the
you're
unison
playing.
in play. You can cheat it out. And it has some Spirit Boost skill.
Yeah. So if you got a green unison that procs off Spirit Boost, there you go.
Yeah.
And like this is the thing with Spirit Boost, and I understand there's the whole argument of this set feels a lot weaker, which it does feel a lot weaker in comparison to the last set, but that's intentional. It's a hard 180, right? That's what we've been describing it as.
Yeah.
It is a hard 180 for the game to make sure it just doesn't go off the deep end in power creep. Um, but Spirit Boost is going to be here for at least 2 or 3 more sets, like at minimum. So what we have now isn't the be all end all. Like we're going to get more green unisons that have when you use Spirit Boost effects. Like so that's where I think these cards are really going to shine.
I think
Is
they're
when
going
we
to
see
be. I don't think it's a stretch to say that those cards are going to be like the free counterplays.
quite possibly. I think that's a fair assessment. Except these are more fair because you do have to have set energies and you do have to pay energy for them.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah, I
this,
agree, but it's
yeah,
still.
these could be staples, is what we're getting at.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know if I've got a unison that I don't want to bother with Marcus for, why not drop a Spirit Bomb Gurku in there for one
It's a
and make it?
one. It's a one drop 25k double strike,
Yeah, yeah, like that's
or
cool.
even more.
Yeah, like, from a thematic standpoint, that's amazing. From a gameplay standpoint, that's amazing. Like, there's just so much to it.
From
So
seeing
really good
your
card.
opponent dropping it when you're 2 life and low hand, and then ditching all of the markers, it's scary.
True, and then it is also a risk reward, right? Because
Yeah, they can
they
just
can just
negate.
negate. Yeah. See, we're on the same page here. So it's a very balanced card, but a card that I'm very glad exists. Like it's so cool. Like there's
Yeah.
just so much. Like I can't stress how much I love that card. I just do. I really like it. Then we have a super combo.
Yeah, it's a Goku super combo. It is what it is. It's a 4 life super combo. Then we have
You feel like his groin's really straight in there. I know it's a weird thing to ask, but like
okay.
that looks
Then we have Vegeta
uncomfortable.
Imagine Exterminator.
This card's great. I like this
This
card a
card is
lot.
weird. So when
Why?
this
Why
card
is this
is,
so
if
weird?
your leader is green, when this card is discarded from your hand by opponent's skill, play this card. If you played, draw 1 card. Then
Yeah,
get Dabura, which was drawing 2.
we do, but you have to pay for Dabura.
Do you?
Yeah, you have to
Okay,
pay 2 energy for Dabura.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. So I think this is perfect for a green mirror match. Um, or like I just love it. I like how I like it. I think it's pretty neat. Like because you when it's discarded by skill, you don't actually get the draw. Then you have to play it. So I think it's fine. I think it's probably going to end up being a sideboard for most green decks if they're going to be scared about green hand control. But it's a card again that can come back into relevancy if hand control is a problem, and then it can fade out of relevancy when it's not so much a problem. I think it's a fine card. I think it's a
I
fine
think
card.
it sounds a bit like the anti-burn we got, and we now got it in every single color.
I could potentially see that happening. I could potentially see that happening. I like if your leader is yellow when your card is discarded
Yeah,
by
because
opponent.
this card is essentially when your opponent forces you to discard, you +1. So you get to play
Yeah,
the
because you get
card
a
and you
body
draw
on
a
board
card.
and you draw a card. Yeah.
So you still have that combo piece, and you draw a card.
I agree. I agree. I could see these being put into every color. I mean, it took a while for all the colors to get the burn cards.
Two
So
sets.
was it two? I thought we got one in set 13. I could be wrong. Wait, no, we did get one in set 13 because this is set
When was
14.
Baby out?
I I can't remember.
Because it was in the same set as a Blue Baby. Quite sure that was 12.
The numbers blur together because of Unison Warrior series and then BT. uh, then we got Gohan the Imagine Exterminate. I love this card.
So why are the two Gohans so far apart?
Uh, Good question. That is actually a very good question, actually.
Because we've already seen one.
Yeah, that's kind of odd, actually. Normally you don't see that. I guess it's because these are the Imagine Exterminators, so they wanted to put them together. I don't know, Peter. I'm not a scientist. Lucky, sorry. I'm not a scientist. I don't decide the card numbers. I don't give Videl 69. Um, but yeah, this card's super cool. I really like this card.
So it lets you reuse the skillless cards. The problem is it costs free. I've never found an opening to play it.
That
Like,
is the downside. Like the fact that it has deflect really helps it, but I agree. Paying free for it, it's not a feels bad, but it's a there's other things you'd rather use your energy for
yeah,
than this.
exactly.
Yeah,
Although it
I
is a
could.
19k double strike dual attack that gets huge whenever you combo because all of your Earthling cards, all of your green skillless battle cards in combo with this card plus 5k power.
Yeah, it's so it can be potentially a big deal. Um, this one's one to watch, I think.
Yeah,
And maybe you don't run it at a four of. I can
but
see it being a two of, and then
it does feel like a finisher for Videl.
yeah, I 100% agree. Which is even more thematic as Gohan and Videl. Spoilers: they have a baby named Pan. Um,
Then we have Hercule, which is the
mm,
Spirit Boost super combo.
yeah, look, swole boy, it looks
And
so
then
good.
we're going into the wall of text. Over half of the card is a text on this boo.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. Cool card. Currently it's not seeing a lot of play. Understandably, paying 5 energy on turn 5 quite difficult to do right now. Um, but I think for when the game does eventually slow down, I think there's a really good chance this card's really good.
Mm,
I like it a lot. Essentially, it's a board wipe. It can keep coming back if your opponent keeps removing it. Um, it's a deadly defender kind of effect. Like, there's just so much to it. So much to it. It is a very cool card. That being said, it's very difficult to get out at the moment, and we do have to
yeah,
understand that. Like, even in the confines of cross spirits, paying 5 energy
never
is quite
happened.
difficult to do. Yeah. Although green is one of the most defensive colors, you got the dormant potentials, you got charismatic villain, like so it's not impossible. Then we move over to Ultimate Despair Margin Boo, which I think is a great addition to the card. It's a shame I read it wrong the first time and just got rid of my card that would allow me to play it, and I was like, ah, it's the other way around. Never mind. I love how this evolves on top of any Gohan adolescence. I seriously think people are really underestimating these evolve skills, um, because they're not restricted to energy or leader or anything. It's just like, oh, I've got this Gohan on board. I'll pay free. Here, look, here's a Boo. Hi. Don't think it's necessarily the most amazing play in the world, but I think it's a cool little tech thing and thematic thing to include. Uh, paying to get it out on free energy is really nice. Um, Getting a free margin token is always a good thing.
Especially that as long as you have a token, you can protect this, right?
Yeah,
But it's a bit sad that the card doesn't have any keyword skills, like double strike, critical, nothing.
yeah. Like even if it gave it dual attack, I think it'd be
Yeah.
a bit nicer.
I don't think this card would
Um,
be bad if it had critical. Like, it wouldn't be that scary to face against.
yeah, true. You could just negate it or whatever.
It's
Um,
20k critical single strike. Alright, there are cards like that.
yeah. No, you're not wrong. I mean, the 4 drop 20k is the baseline of when Bandai want to change the game. Like you look at other 4 drop 20ks, they do have double strikes, they do have barriers, they do have deflects. Like this has none of that. Um, Granted, you're not paying for it, so I guess that's the compromise. Who knows? I could easily see a card that gives Boo some skills down the line. Um,
Mm. If this
Especially
card is
since
under your Majin Buu, give it an effect. I could see
yeah,
that.
yeah. Then we've got Boo Mighty Absorption, probably the best card in the deck. Uh, it's what everything leads to. Just good. When you play it, you can find your unison, which is nice.
But if you do,
Uh,
you need to
you have
discard
to
a card from
discard,
hand.
which I guess, like with green, you'd probably discard a Ribrium. Would be what my go-to shout was if you were trying to do this correctly.
Yeah. Or
Because then
alternatively, can't you just play the 4 drops from your drop?
you can, yeah,
Yeah. So you just
another one, yeah.
yeah, another target.
Yeah, it's not impossible. I do think we need another 4-drop 15k though.
Yeah. Oh, is there only
The,
one?
yeah,
Ooh.
yeah, and we need more 4-drop 15k green boost. Um,
So, and Spirit Boost, you get a token and you can self awaken,
yeah, like
which is alright.
it's genuinely a good card. It's just we need more.
Yeah.
um, Imagine Boo, brilliant absorption. Uh, so this one evolves on Piccolo. Finds your 50. You find your Gertanks. Boo. Um, the Spirit Boost on this one's weird. Um, like we've already established how you're gonna need Babidi on board like after turn one, and then this card not being like it's just a weird play to me. I get it, it's good. I just don't think Babidi's the unison to play with this deck. I actually think Demagogue's probably more of a shout for this deck than Babidi.
Like, this card is so weird. If it wasn't by opponent's skill, you could
Mm,
overload and then activate it.
that's what I mean. It seems super balanced, like probably over balanced if that
Yeah,
makes
that's
sense.
what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Still a very cool concept. I can't, I don't, I feel like I haven't stressed this enough. I love the concept of this deck. It just feels very balanced right now. Like, and that's not a bad thing. Like we're saying, like, it's not a bad thing. It's
But yeah, they
balanced.
do need another target.
100% they need another target. That is
Hopefully
like,
one is going to come in anniversary box.
I would absolutely adore that. Or the next expansions.
Yeah.
As we have seen, expansions can support Legacy set, and they've done that with Boo in the past. We've got the
Or they
free
can
drop Boo.
support future sets with the Chili.
That's true. True. See? So I like this is what I mean. This is why we've kind of learned here at Players Guild, not to just immediately jump the gun because sometimes they have planned things out. Um, but again, obviously, in the confines of this set, it should have had another 4-drop. Um,
Yeah.
then we have the two 1-drops, which I think are just amazing in their own rights. The top 5 ones obviously a little bit better, but the pair one cantrip and then go into your 15k, still really good.
It's essentially
Like,
one energy to go into the 15k, right?
yeah, yeah.
The problem is you need to have cards under your leader, and at the moment you either need Spirit Boost for that,
Mm-hmm.
or you need to be able to attack on the front side, because on the back side you don't put anything without Spirit
This is
Boost.
what I'm saying about there needs to be more ways to put green card. Sorry, more ways to put cards under your leader, even if they're your own cards. So
Yeah.
that's why I kind of lean to blue green
Even
with this deck.
activate
'Cause,
main, put this card from your hand underneath your leader.
yeah, that'd be fine. Um, or I even activate main pair one to do it. Like if you really wanted to be balancing it.
No, a 4 drop
Um,
15k that put this card and all the cards underneath it, underneath your leader. Limit 1.
yeah. That wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. What am I thinking? I was going to say something. That's what. Sorry, that's why I'm leading blue green with this deck. It's
Yeah.
just so you have access to Boo Make Your Cookie, and that is literally it. Like I shouldn't be wanting to play a different color just to help my leader do what it should be doing in the set.
At the same time, I would not be upset if they gave some tie-in cards for the blue-green boo.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that as well.
Because
Like
outside
I
androids, we don't have a decent blue-green archetype.
no, and honestly, and this is tin pot hat figure. Like here, we're going to conspiracy theory territory. Boo's a great candidate for revive.
Yeah, because he keeps on
So
reviving. Just
exactly.
give it something better to do with. Like, the biggest problem I have with revive is that if it's removed by a skill, it does
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah. Gotta be KO'd, right? We'll see. We'll see. I like there is some great stuff in here which we are going to come on to now, which is Booper. Sorry,
Yeah.
Imagine Brute unadulterated malice, aka Booper. Um, this card is phenomenal. This card is 100% the like one of the best green cards for this deck. But it's also a great card for general green cards.
Yeah, it's a general
Because
green negate.
yeah, it's Booper. It's Boopo. Um,
Um, yes and no.
yes and no, no. Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have a cost to uh, introduce that additional tax on your opponent. but it's
Mm.
part of the counter skill as well.
So if the counter skill's negated, you don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, in Topo is the same because you need to be able to play it, but it's an auto skill there.
Ah, okay.
So there is that difference. So that auto skill can be bloodlusted.
Ah, well, that's true. Yeah, that is true.
And this
Um,
one cannot. At the same time, you need to be able to play the card. That's why you need to be able to play the card, because you can't stop it otherwise.
yeah.
So if you preemptive strike this or dormant potential, you don't get to discard the card.
Ah,
Because
okay.
the card was never played. You still negate the attack.
Oh, but if you play the card and choose one card, yeah,
Yep.
okay. Yeah, yeah.
And then it has the same absorption effect for the same target. I was convinced that there's at least 2 targets to go into in that deck.
Yeah, they really needed another target. They
Yeah.
really did. Then we get Majin Buu thwarting the enemy again. It's the
Yeah, that
thwarting counter. Um, Seriously, who at Bandai is just like, you know, I really like the word thwarting.
to be fair, all of them are called thwarting the enemy.
Yeah, but I'm on about like we have thwarting the
Thwarting the
Dark
Dark Empire,
Empire.
I know.
Yeah, it's just like someone got a like a proper thwarting's a very good word. Let's use it. I
To
don't
be
hate it,
fair,
by the way.
it
That's
is a
not a
good
complaint.
word, and it is that upstage word that suits Dragon Ball quite well.
Yeah, no, I do love it. That's not me complaining. Like that's just me making an observation. That's
Then,
it's like when we get new chain attack cards, I get really excited because it's like, ooh,
yeah, Chain Attack was also quite cool. So then we
yeah,
have Broly, Berserker of Frieza's
card's great.
army.
Card's great.
I do want to see this card in King Cold. Because we
Yep.
do have that field that works with it as well.
I know Eggman. As soon as he saw it, he was like, "So this is gonna be fun."
Yep.
So that's good. Like, check out Hayden's channels and stuff. Like, I'm sure he'll be trying to do all kinds of things with this card. Like, he's the guy who just puts stuff into everything. So, like, especially Broly and Chilai and trying to make Maiden's hat. But like, so if you're curious to see how this works, Eggman's your guy. But as for excitement, it explains the tournament pack card. And I think it's just quite a good card anyway, and it also supports the old Broly from set 6, but it also supports King Cold, like you said.
Yeah. So the fact that this can be a 1-drop 15k is actually quite scary.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree with you. I definitely agree.
And then when
Um,
it's removed and you have 3 or more energy, it can just pop
Hi,
out the 7-drop critical.
I'm Big Boy Broly now. Hello. Yeah, so it is a very powerful card in its own right. I really hope it does see play. I genuinely am hoping it sees play.
Then we have Defender of Justice, which is anti-token negate.
Not an SR.
Yeah,
Looks like an SR, but
it
it's
just
not an SR.
it just removes one of the tokens from the game,
Yep.
which,
Heart of Maiden, brilliant card.
which is also not an SR.
The fact that you look at, like I said it before with the Dark Dragon Balls from last set, from Black, sorry.
Yeah.
Like you look at the top 7, then decide what to do. Huge quality of life change, and I think it's a great change, especially for decks like this one, especially. Um, like Heroine needs more, and so having that option for it really helps.
Yeah. Also finding the 2 skillers, it's essentially pay 1, draw 2, right?
Yeah,
Actually, pay 1, draw 4. Because then you combo with a skillless, take a life, draw a card. Opponent's turn, combo
right.
with a
I'm with you,
skillless,
yeah.
take a life, draw a card. So it's pay 1, draw 4.
Yeah, which Videl just likes to do. Or you find your unison and play it. Which
Yeah, which Videl actually does need that unison really badly. So
that's what I'm saying. So it's like not only can you defend that unison early game, if your opponent removes it, you play it for the same energy
yeah.
anyway. Like, what more do you want from us? The deck's super consistent.
Power beyond Super Saiyan 2.
Great. I love it. I love it. I love Boo getting his ass kicked. It's always great. And Super Saiyan 3, just it's one of my favorite forms. Don't at me.
This is a very interesting card. Like, the best one I can see is against unisons that are 1 marker.
Yeah. I think that's a really fair point. That or unisons that when they come in, they're going to try and use their effect.
Yeah, something that's going to just make it awkward.
Mm. Like, I think this would be really funny. And I know it's not like what we said with the one drops, but I think this is really funny against King Cold
Just to reduce
because
that King Vegeta.
it comes in, yeah, exactly. It comes in at two, and so it's just like, oh well, now we're on one.
But
Because they rarely have
they always use
battle cards
the
that can do it.
+1, don't they? Is it +1 to activate the field?
It is, but like they always like the thing about King Cold is you've got to manage those markers because
Yeah.
yeah. So this could really help against it.
But this
Like,
is on. I don't think this is good against King Cold because the punishment for that is if they don't, you choose up to one of their battle cards and KO it. If they don't have battle cards,
oh, right, okay.
it's
So
very specific. It's after you remove one unison and they play another.
okay, okay. Never mind then. Never mind then. Never mind that.
Diabolical blow is they remove a marker from a unison or do something else, which is this one is actually quite alright because you KO a card with cost 3 or less and then draw a card.
Hmm. Uh, there's a mistake on this card.
Why?
Um, I'm just gonna see if anyone in the comments figures it out. Um, there you go. There's a mistake on it. It's not to do with the text though. Don't worry. It's artwork related. Um, let us know in the comments below if you spot it. If you're right, well, I'll give you a shout out. But it took me forever to spot it, so I don't think other people are gonna get it. Then we move on to commemorative photo, one of the best cards ever created for the game.
Why is this not a secret?
I don't know. It's so powerful. Like actually broken. I mean, I used it against you, and yeah. Uh,
That's all that
no,
needs to
but
be said.
all memes aside, I am so glad this card exists.
Yes.
Like, genuinely, like, it's not every now and again you can have a bit of fun and put in some flavor cards. And this is what it is. This is just a fun flavor card. It's like the Veku promo, right? If the Veku promo was in the main set,
Yeah,
we'd
but
love it. But it
yes,
took the
but
promo
that's the thing.
slot.
Veku was a tournament promo on top of that.
Exactly. Like, whereas this, it's in the main set. It's a common. Everyone loves it. Like, I haven't seen a bad word about it. There's people who don't get the joke, which is fine. Like, it
Yeah.
text is hard to understand intent of on the best of times. So when everyone's going around saying this is the best card and like people are just like it says me, it's like everyone knows what the card does. Like
No, I'm
just
sorry.
goes,
There was someone who was arguing.
oh the Vegeta thing, yeah. Oh, let's
Yeah,
not talk
that the
about that.
leader skill says. So the awakened skill says you may draw 2 cards, so it's not optional.
Yeah, it's like that's no, stop it, stop it, stop it. Bandai would never print a one drop your
Win the
opponent
game.
takes all their life card. Like no.
Next one is Wicked Mimicry, which I don't think I've seen you use.
I didn't draw it. I didn't draw it. They were in the deck. Didn't draw it. It's fine. It's cool. Like if you like, I hope we do get a more margin token focused deck, especially if they're going to go for green route because that seems to be where they're getting more tokens from.
Yeah.
This is what I mean. Green and blue seem to work really well together. Honestly, a blue Surge leader wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
The Surge Leader would be the worst thing in the world.
No, no, it wouldn't. I need it. I need it. I need it, Bandai.
I need Android 13 Surge Leader.
No, no, Boo first. You could get Android later. You got Cell. You got Cell. That's an Android. Go
Yeah,
away.
but it's not Android 13. It needs to be Android 13 so I can use all the Android 13 cards.
Oh, right, Android 13 on it. But that
I
is our
will
last
play
card for
Cell
green.
Surge if you let me use it as Android 13.
No. Right, we've got to give a grade here,
Oh yeah, that was the last card.
and I'm gonna go with A. I really wanted to give this higher because it's Boo, and I love Boo. Videl because it's her introduction and she's great. But I think we've highlighted the reasons why that it just isn't there for an S tier. And I don't think it's there for an A plus either for me, unfortunately. I think there's just a
don't think
Bit
it's.
too much missing.
Sorry, I don't think it's even for A for me.
Oh wow.
Just because Boo feels left out.
Okay.
So, sorry, let's look at it this way, right? You have
Mhm.
one 4-drop 15k you can absorb into, and you have two 2-drops, two 1-drops that can absorb into it. So you have four
Mhm.
cards that absorb in one.
Mhm.
Then you have a 4-drop 20k, which only attachment is that if you have already the 4-drop 15, the Gotenks one, you can play it for 2 energy.
Yeah.
Because it needs to be, you need to remove a card from underneath your battle card. It can't be from underneath your leader.
Mm. Okay.
And then you have a 5-drop, which is unattached at all to everything that is happening.
Yeah, it's just a 5-drop. Here's a boss monster. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's the
can see
thing.
that.
The archetype felt really, really good initially,
Mm.
but it's too disjointed for me.
That's fair though. That's why we have graded. That's why we have two voices, two
Yeah,
different
that's
opinions.
why I think it's a strong B, a very strong B. But is that just they proved that they can show the archetypes being united, properly held together,
Mm.
and then they did this.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair criticism. So yeah, an A and a B from me and Loki, respectively. Oh, that rhymed, and it wasn't intentional. But guys, if you haven't already, let us know in the comments below what you would grade the green cards from this set. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and we'll see you tomorrow with more graded.